And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them.
They shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows will take hold of them. Where
they shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth.
They shall be as in pain like a woman that is with child. Where
they shall be amazed at one another's, and their faces shall be as flames.
Their faces shall be as flames, because people think that this place will continue on. People are still having children right now, just like in the days of Noah. People getting married, drinking, because they're talking about that they're going to lift the lockdown and the people can go back to nightclubs and stuff as long as they get the vaccine and passport. And you're aware of this. So things is continuing on. That's how people think that this place will continue on, but it won't. But the scriptures say when they start saying peace and safety, that's when sudden destruction comes upon them. So we have to be mindful of what the scriptures is saying concerning these times. Don't be deceived by things that will go on as normal, because it won't. The Most High's intent is to destroy this place. Why? Because this place is the land of our captivity. It's a very serious thing what the other nations have done to us as a people when they enslaved, because the scriptures say that we are the apple of the Most High's eye. We're very special to the Most High. You know.
It says, Isaiah 13:9, behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel with both wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners that they're out of it.
Read that again.
Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel with both wrath and fierce anger.
So it said the day of the Lord will come both cruel and with fierce anger. Where
to lay the land desolate.
To lay the whole land desolate. Because America, that's the main land of our bondage. That's Egypt. That's modern day Egypt. Spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah. And that land will be laid desolate. The scripture says it will never be inhabited ever again. I'm pretty sure if you know the Bible, there's certain verses that detail this too. It shall be like Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. Fire came down and destroyed. That's how Babylon, America, will be destroyed. Because that's the land of Egypt where we was taken to as slaves by ship. Remember I read to you that verse. So that land has to be judged. Because that land is filled with the blood of the saints, the blood of us. See, that's the greatest Holocaust that ever took place, that no one takes account of it. Why? Because the nations hate us. Because we're over these other nations of people. We're over, I know you might not want to hear it, but we're over the so-called white. We're over the East Indian, the Ishmaelite, the Arabs. That's why they hate us. They're jealous of us. But, okay, take it. That's cool, man.
Deuteronomy 76 if you want it.
Go on, bring out.
Deuteronomy chapter...
Deuteronomy, this is Deuteronomy 7 and 6. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Yeah, you know what I mean? A lot of people wanna see that's again, it's the enemy that deceived us into thinking that we're not these people. Because when we were born and we went to school, that's the last thing that we would have thought, that we were these people. That was the last thing. So we started befriending Esau, befriending Elam, befriending Ishmael. You know what I mean? Befriended them. I remember times when I was hanging around white people, right? Me too. You know what I'm saying? Used to hang around them and shit. Bust joke with them, go out with them. And you had no understanding of yourself. And who you were, your destiny. You were just thinking that everybody's everybody, you know?
I can say, because in the society as well, Esau teaches that Jake is to mingle with everybody else.
Yeah.
Everyone else retains who they are. So like you have Moabites, you know, they have Moabite town, aka Chinatown.
Yeah.
You have the so-called Jewish communities, the Korean communities, you know, Moab / Ammon again. And all these people understand that they are one nation, and they stick with that. They might deal with the other nations, but they don't lose their identity amongst the other nations. But our people don't understand it, because of the oppression that they've dealt with. They think the easiest solution to that is to intermingle with everybody else. Because why? Because they have no power to do anything but mingle.
Just blending.
And when we talk, when certain leaders in the black community talk about getting their own land, building this, building that, to everybody else, it's crazy to them. It's black supremacy. They want to call it black supremacy. But everybody else is doing it.
Look at Esau, man. Look what he's doing in Mozambique. Look what he's doing in the world, man. All these nations are vying for power. And here he is, we don't have shit, but the second we start speaking about it, there's a problem. But look at what Esau, they got fighter jets. The East Indians, they're developing their nuclear missile technology. Russia, Ukraine, they all got these military tanks, fighter jets, China. All the scriptures, why did it even range? And imagine a vain thing, but here is we're in captivity, talking about building businesses. And all of a sudden, people feel threatened.
Even though that's not achievable. But they still feel threatened. Because, I'm going to read it actually, I'm going to read it. Psalms 83, 1, it says, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They that hate you, so there's a people that, when you hate God, man, you hate us, the Israelites. They that hate thee have lifted up their head, meaning they're getting proud now, man. They're getting proud. Go ahead.
Verse 3 says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
See that crafty counsel? You know someone crafty like a fox? The rude and elite of Esau have taken crafty counsel against God's chosen people. You got time? They take a crafty counsel against us. That means we have enemies. We have people that are against us, man.
Verse 4 says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So the Bible's actually telling you what's happening out here. It's actually said that these very same people, they've taken crafty counsel against us to cut off the name of Israel, to define. See, when you see that, that should kind of boil your blood, man, because that right there, that should. See what I'm saying? But the thing is, that another nation of people is defiling our own women. Man.
That's the tears, man. That brings forth the tears, man.
Exactly. Why do they keep looking back, man? Because you know why? When they walk past, they know, they feel, that white man felt like.
No, it's more her. He doesn't care, man. In my opinion. It's more her. She got cut. She got cut.
She's ugly.
To him, that's his little prize, man. That's his little fetish.
Because she got eczema on her lip. She's ugly, man. So she's thinking, I can get back at a black man by getting with a white man.
I just wanted to speak on that verse I just read. It says that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, right? But if you want to ask people who Israel is today, or the unlearned, they'll tell you it's the people that are living in that land right now, that state, right? So their name is well known, right? And according to this book, they are the people of this book. So that contradicts what the scripture just said. So they can't be there.
It says no more remembrance. People don't remember us as being the Israelites.
Right.
That's why That's why we got to come out here. We got to educate, we need to instruct our people that you are the Israelites. Imagine that. You're a grown-ass man, yeah? And you have to be taught who you are.
And that's madness. It's madness, it's lucky, but it's no shame. Because we had to be taught. But that's like that.
But that's the madness. That's the madness. That's the madness. You should be taught that from child, man. Your culture and everything should be instilled inside of you by your parents. You can say that. Hold on.
Train up a child in the way we should work.
There's that one, but there's another one. It's Psalm 70. Hold on. Psalm 78. Verse 2, I will open my mouth in the parable, I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children. So we will not hide them from their children. So what was hid from us? Our identity. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahweh and his strength and his wonderful works that he have done. How do we do that? By telling our people, we're the very same people that came out of Egypt. The Passover. There are certain things that commemorated that we instilled in our culture to remind us of our heritage, man. How we exited Egypt, the plagues that came upon Egypt, how he was given the laws and commandments. They said, for he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in the Most High and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep his commandments, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, and whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. But these things was hid from us by the very same people who enslaved us. And they took what they say crafty counsel and said, listen, how can we, you know what I'm saying, hide this truth from them? Go on.
Verse 5, it says, for they have consulted together with one consent.
You see that?
They are confederate against thee. It says the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gabar and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, Assur also is joined with them. Wow. They have opened the children of Lot, Salah.
So this is the international thing among the world, the powers that be. It wasn't just a thing that Esau did. He was spearheaded by Esau, but all the other nations have helped Esau in his endeavor, man.
That's why his name is at the top of the list.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. All the nations fear Jacob. I'm talking about the world leaders, man. I mean, the average Edomite fears us, man. But they don't fear us like their rulers do, man. The elites of Esau, Edom, and the other nations know very well who you so-called black people are. And they've been trying very hard to keep this truth hidden from your consciousness, man. So they can continue to rule over you, to exploit you, and to use you for their benefit. Until ultimately when they're finished with you, they'll discard you and wipe you out. So don't think that your enemy is going to teach you the truth. You go to school thinking that that's the best thing for you and your children is to get educated. That's what you call it. Get a decent education. An education into stupidity, man.
That's right.
That ain't teaching you who you are. Calling yourself black. How's that education? You learn nothing about yourselves. But you know everything on how to build Esau's world.
That's the price. And you got to say straight up, you got niggas out there that
All over themselves to try.
just exalt that.
No.
Put that on a pedestal.
And you know, I've tried to speak to her twice. she said I was pretty, bro. She had a pretty face. She said I had a pretty face. But she's got children, bro. Tried to move her twice, bro. Go on.
This is Proverbs 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Train a child. See, that's like Esau. Crafty. Remember, it's crafty counsel. This man is. Remember the scripture that we read about how they encourage themselves in the evil matter. They search out iniquities, man. A diligent search, man. You see, they've been diligently seeking different ways to try and, keep us ignorant, man. By targeting our children and targeting the women of our people, man. And targeting the very minds of the so-called black people. You have to understand a lot of the issues that so-called black people have is all mental, man, psychological. How we perceive ourselves, how we perceive one another. Comparing ourselves with so-called white people and feeling very insecure about our estate in comparison to so-called white people. And Esau, the so-called white man, the crafty counsel that they have taken among themselves is to hide the very same knowledge that will give us esteem in these last days, man. The very same thing which would ultimately save us, man. Esau, boy, I'm telling you. My foot's gonna be so hard on Esau's Adam's apple. I'm gonna crush it, man. In the kingdom.
You said?
Yeah.
So, Proverbs 22 and verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the word of correction should drive it far from him.
Break it down.
So basically, yeah, as the elder was saying, you put your children into the public school system, and all it is teaching your children to be more wicked, to learn the ways of our oppressors and our enemies, teaching them that they're black and that they've got no history. Whenever the child learns about their nativity, I remember myself used to do the nativity play. Everybody in that was an Edomite. When you used to read the storybooks and they show you like Yahweh Shai is a white little baby, Mary and Joseph are white. You know, there's no truth in it. So basically, they're teaching your children foolishness, so they're going to grow up being fools. And when they come to the when they reach adulthood, we're out here trying to tell them, hey, look, man, you were lied to. Everything you were taught was wrong. They don't want to let that go because they're so invested in it. They don't want to take the loan and think, you know what, I'm not as smart as I once thought I was. And the things that I once thought I knew, I'm not. They don't want to go back to being a little child.
That's part of the deception, man, of Esau. That crafty counsel. You know what I'm saying? This is Matthew's. This is Matthew's 13 verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, for they. Let me start from verse 15. Let me start verse 14. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy. No, verse 13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they, seeing, see not, and hearing, they hear not, neither do they understand. This is Daniel's 12, verse 10. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Let me go back. Matthew 13 and 13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they see not, and hear not, neither do they understand. Why? Because they're the wicked. Psalms 82 verse 5. They know not, neither would they understand. They walk on in darkness, all the foundations of the earth are out of course. Go on, please.
Book of Hosea, chapter 1, verse 10, it says, Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power.
And who's saying that to them? The Most High is saying that to them through the prophets, man. Because what does it say? This is this is Hosea 12 verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So the Most High is saying unto our people, you are the sons of the living power. So, I don't want to be a king. You know?
I don't want to live in a palace.
I don't want a palace. I want to love people. I want to... You know, that's like that homeboy slave mentality, man. You know?
Do you know, can I say something?
Yeah.
You know what it is? The scriptures say where there is no vision, the people perish. Our people can't imagine having a crown or a palace or having land or having multiple wives. They just can't envision it. So therefore the people perish because they lack the vision.
I'll give you an example of what you said to be true, right? There's a guy on Instagram called Dixon White.
Yeah.
His thing is called Dixie Whitey, right? And he's always talking about the oppression of the so-called blacks that's seen as a Native Americans. And he looks like an evil one, I'm not sure. But on his page, he has a multitude of Israelite followers. They don't know they're Israelites, but he has a multitude of them. But then you see brothers' pages on Instagram, like prophets' pages, and there's no followers.
There's no followers.
The only people that are following them are other men than them.
Can you imagine?
So they're following after someone who they can see to be, like I said, I can't, you know, sometimes the Spirit tells me he might be a Jacob, sometimes I'm not sure, you know, but, you know, in their eyes, he's an Edomite, but they're following after him. Hanging on every word he says.
That's those slave niggas, man. Them chuckle driving niggas, man. This is Jeremiah 2. No, that's not the one. What's that one? The home mostly. Where's that homeboy stay one?
Oh, so you have to take one.
It says in Jeremiah. No? Is it not in Jeremiah?
I'm just checking. Jeremiah 2:14.
See? Jeremiah
2:14.
Yeah, Jeremiah 2, verse 14. That's right. Let me read from verse 11. Have a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which doth not profit. Yeah, which is this world, man. And all your religious beliefs, they will not profit you, man. Cry to Jesus. Jesus.
Sweet Jesus.
You know what I mean? Sweet Jesus, man. Cry unto Jesus in the day of Yahweh, man.
Imagine if they knew what we look like. They're probably vomit, man. That's half the reason why they're in support of that in the first place, man. Because they already perceive this man to be the Most High. So when they see, their beloved sweet Jesus, who's long hair and his blue eyes, that's it for them, man. They're so, you try and tell them otherwise. It's like that, we've all seen that clip. I can't remember that show. It's an old show from the 70s or something like that. And the little boy's trying to show them his mum the true depiction of his Howard Shire, right? And she's like, no, this she's looking at the picture of Cesare on the wall saying, no, this will always be my Jesus.
That's what I'm saying, man. Our people are God. I'm just gonna say our people are God. Our people are Scottish, man. Hold on. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this day, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith Yahweh. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. What does it say in Proverbs? Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and waters out of thine own well. You get that? Hold on.
Just get it when you're good.
You can get it. You know what it is?
Yeah, Proverbs 5.
Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? It's our people, man. Homeborn slaves. That's the best slave. The best slave is to have a slave you take him from West Africa, for example. Breed the slave, breed them. And the picnic that come out of that, condition that generation. Condition them. You a nigger, you just that. And forbid that generation from speaking their language and practicing their culture. Forbid them, and if they do, you punish them. So, the same way so-called black people that are here in Babylon to this day, we were born and raised by the oppressor. And he has taught us his ways. And this is why we have such a hard time in getting our people to choose to drink waters out of their own system.
Right, this is Proverbs, the 5th chapter and the 15th verse. It says, drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well.
Running waters, living waters, man. They are running, they'll keep flowing with knowledge or understanding. We can keep flowing. But what did it say? It said, it said this. Jeremiah 2:13, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Because the ways that you're going is not going to profit you none, man. The people are running. Look at the people. They're laboring. The scripture says labor not for the meat that perish, man, but for the meat, that will keep running into everlasting life. Yeah. And she had the border in blue as well. And she didn't even stop to say Shalom on that, man. What's wrong with her? Showing you, your friends just don't mean shit. No, with all respect to the Most High and His laws, but if you can walk around fringes all day, you still be destroyed, man. It said, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? You're spoiled and destroyed because you have no knowledge of yourselves, man. Of yourselves. Go on.
This is Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Don't learn their ways, man. Because under the rulership of the so-called white man of Esau, we've made ourselves abominable, man. Porn stars, doing as the Greeks do, man. You got certain niggas out there that pride themselves in being English, man. Be honorary Edomites. Dressing up like Esau. Hanging around Esau. Climbing into bed with Esau. Bleaching their skin trying to look like Esau.
Blonding their hair.
Blonding their hair like leprosy.
Yeah, man, and them Benjaminites, man, they're lost for that bleaching business, man. That's like a pandemic now.
But that shows you that it was real, man. The deceit was real.
Bleaching, skin bleaching. Yeah, because they'll tell you it's because they look white. They'll actually say that. A lot of people, they skirt around it and try and make it sound like it's something to do with their skin or something. And then Benjaminites, man, they'll just straight up tell you it's because they want to look white. So cool.
That's why they say having hair like mine is having nice hair. Then they call that the woody hair, they call it black. You know what I mean? And that's how bad the deceit got, man. Remember, it was an intergenerational thing that Esau did, the Willie Lynch there. Because that's the crafty council.
Yeah.
That's part of that, the Willie Lynch there, that's part of that crafty council. You know what I mean? To put the slaves, to pit the slaves against one another. Forbidding them from reading. That's all part of the detailed plan to use against the slaves. So you have to understand there's been an intergenerational thing that they've institutionalized and instilled in our people over centuries, man. Centuries worth of deceit. Can you imagine? You have to undo all of that dirt, man, that Esau's sown in.
Psalm 64, verse 6 again. They search out iniquities, they accomplish diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away.
Right, because their own tongue is falling upon themselves. Esau, like we're discovering the shit that Esau's done. This nakedness is being revealed, man. Esau's kind of telling on themselves about the evil that they've done now. And their shame is now being seen that the so-called white man, he's not the gentleman that he made himself out to be. He's the killer, the murderer, the thief, the destroyer of worlds, a liar. This is on Deuteronomy 33 verse 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee? Talking about you so-called blacks and Native American Indians. Who is like unto you? Who can dance like you? Who can sing like you? Who can perform like you? Who is like you?
Who can survive like you?
Who can survive like you? Who has suffered like you? The scripture says under the whole heaven has not been done unto Jerusalem, man. It says, O people saved by Yahweh, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency, and thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. The scripture says our enemies be found to be liars, man.